So today was a very busy political day. There was a burial of the widow of a former Luo Council of Elder Chair in Homa Bay County, specifically Karachuonyo constituency. Interestingly, the event immediately became an ODM event with even ODM regalia and uniform. The event was attended by almost every elected Luo MP and the people and even governors and MCAs, as you can imagine. And of course, Raila was in attendance. And so during this a particular funeral, people, especially speaker after speaker, reiterated that ODM was a party that was independent and that their association with President Ruto was not a coalition. There was no working relationship. It was just a matter of coexistence. And so when Raila got to speak, he said certain things. Of course, he first of all gave the brief history of Luos, insisted that the Luo Council of Elder, the one that he had installed, because you remember there was even chaos of the leadership of the Luo Council of Elders. And so Raila took that opportunity to endorse the Luo Council of Elders, the one that they had appointed. I'm using his exact word. He said they appointed that Luo Council of Elder. But after sharing all this, he talked about the unity of the Luo nation. And something interesting happened. After he spoke about the unity of the Luo nation, Raila Odinga decided to make certain things clear concerning the unity of the Luo nation. He was like, Luos are not supposed to fight each other, that the community is supposed to be united, that even though there were some who are in other parties, eventually they all come together and be one. So, having said all that, he said that he wanted to make something clear in a language that everybody else can understand. And that is that he doesn't see why people should criticize James Orengo and Anyang Nyong'o. Now, he was speaking in an event that was attended by people who have made it very clear that they don't like the position of James Orengo. One of them is Atandi. Atandi is the current chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee in Parliament. And Atandi took time on the floor of the House to really castigate James Orengo and say that Orengo had failed to do his job as a governor and was now focusing on trying to teach the national government on how to work. James Atandi was there and actually is one of the people who spoke during this event, during this funeral event. So what happened? Raila was like, he doesn't see why anybody should criticize James Orengo. He doesn't see why anybody should have issues with Anyang Nyong'o. Anyang Nyong'o, for those of you who are maybe not following the local politics, Anyang Nyong'o of late has been critical of President Ruto, accusing him of not being friendly to devolution. Of course, like I told you, both James Orengo and Anyang Nyong'o come out as hypocritical because when they were with Uhuru Kenyatta in the handshake, Orengo and Nyong'o never even spoke about devolution. let alone saying that it was not being implemented. But then let's say people change and there is nothing wrong with somebody deciding to correct something that they did not correct at the time. So Raila was like, Orengo is speaking concerning the MOU that is signed with UDA, and that he was right to talk and he should be given room to talk. He should be heard. Also, he also spoke about Nyong'o, saying that Nyong'o was was speaking the language of ODM when he criticized the president, or in terms of the president for failing to implement the devolution or devolving the funds as should have been. So people, as you can imagine, there has been a lot of interpretation of what Raila actually meant, or why he decided to defend James Orengo, etc. Because the notion was that Orengo and Nyong'o and Kinasifuna were simply rebelling with Raila Odinga for personal reasons, that they did not see how they were going to benefit in a broad-based arrangement, especially James Orengo, who is seeking a second term. He might not see how he's going to gain from a broad-based arrangement if Raila is not on the ballot. So what happens? People have said this is the indication that the marriage between Ruto and Raila is over. There are some who also argue, and there are others who also argue that this is just telling you that it is Raila Odinga who has always sent James Orengo. It's Raila Odinga who has always sent Anyang Nyong'o and Sifuna to speak out of turn. So that's one of the things people say. But I think I have a different view. I could be wrong, but hear me out. In my view, Raila Odinga does not endorse what Orengo and Anyang Nyong'o are doing. However, because if you know Raila Odinga, you can't possibly believe that now he has room for divergent views in ODM. That is not how he has led ODM for all those years. Remember, just the decision of 8 ODM members to visit State House without Raila's blessing, they were expelled from the party. You saw what happened to Jalango. Raila Odinga and divergent views, ladies and gentlemen, unless something has happened, that is not him. He does not entertain divergent views in ODM. ODM is, like the members of ODM put it, ODM is Raila and Raila is ODM. So his word is law in that party. If he says this is the route we are taking, that is the route the party takes. Either you toe the line or you shape out. That is how it is in ODM. So to hear Raila saying that there should be room for divergent views, that Orengo is justified to criticize the broad-based government, to attack the MOU, hearing Raila saying that Nyong'o is right to call out President Ruto for not implementing the devolution the way it should be according to the Constitution, that is something else. And this is what I think is going on. Raila Odinga has found himself working with President Ruto. And I think the deal is done. Like, chances are that he is going to officially endorse President Ruto come 2027. Like I say, I could be wrong. And politics is a funny game, especially Kenya's politics. So chances are that there may be changes. You never know what happens tomorrow in Kenya's politics. So what I think, this is my view, is that Raila, having realized that is like is he's committed himself to supporting Ruto, he feels that at least people should see that he's not complacent or that he's been swallowed by President Ruto. He wants to give this picture of, I am supporting you, but you have to do this and this and this. So that it seems like his support for Ruto was to boost his governance, make him a better leader, something like that. Take some credit for the things that William Ruto will achieve. And so those who are criticizing Ruto, Raila, might not be very happy with the direction they are taking, because it can also embolden others who may rebel with him in future. But for now, he feels like it serves the purpose of painting him as not just somebody who has joined President Ruto and is not pro good governance, but as someone who is now pro good governance. I think that is what is going on. That he wants to paint a picture of someone who has joined Ruto to correct things. That is why even the likes of Mbadi and others who joined President Ruto, you hear Raila calling them experts, that we donated experts to help run the government. So politically also, I think he wants to achieve the same. He wants a situation where when people look at the arrangement they have with Ruto, it would be seen like he is coming to reinforce and make sure that there is good governance, so that ODM is not seen as one that jumped and was bought or was compromised. I think that is what he wants to achieve. Not that Raila Odinga is so much interested in, not that Raila Odinga is so much interested in seeing uh, divergent views. Like I've said, I will repeat this. There is no record of Raila entertaining divergent views in ODM unless things have changed. I'm not saying that things can't change. Things can change. But there is no record of Raila Odinga allowing divergent views. If he says left, you either go left. If he says right, that is how you do it. So people had come out, had condemned Orengo. There were statements being given. Opio Wandai was very categorical. He told Orengo to his face. Uh, uh, even the likes of Gladys Wanga made it appear like James Orengo was on the wrong. But now Raila comes and says there should not be bickering. People are supposed to be together. ODM is supposed to be a united front. And the likes of James Orengo and Nyong'o have the right to say what they're saying. I think it's just like he wants to have a situation where their relationship with Ruto is also seen as him coming to bring good governance, so that those people who criticize President Ruto are also seen to be people that are speaking his voice, that he has not just joined and is complacent and is not criticizing things. I think that's what is going on. That is my opinion. I don't know whether that makes sense, but I don't buy into things like that endorsing Orengo means Raila and Ruto are now done. I told you some time ago that even after AUC, that even if Raila was to lose AUC, he would still work with Ruto, because politically it is the best decision for him and, of course, his supporters. Ruto is going for a second term. After that, Raila not only have sway of who becomes the next president, it will be like they are owed the presidency come 2032. And I don't think he can miss that chance. Two, the likes of Oburu and other advisors of William Ruto, Adam Solo and others, these are think tanks. These are people who have always been by Raila's side. And if you see them advising Ruto and being incorporated in Ruto's government, as far as working together in 2027 is concerned, I am persuaded this is a done deal. That is what I believe. And so I just think Raila wants to appear like he the is still the guy you can rely on when it comes to putting government in check. And he loves it that the likes of Orengo, Sifuna, and others are speaking out. And so it's going to allow them. But then there will be a time, and this I repeat, there will come a time when Raila will say enough is enough. Let's all uh, toe the line. And this is the direction I'm giving. And then you will not hear all these other things. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I wanted to share. I know it is a little bit late, but I felt like I needed to share something about this topic because the challenge we have in this country is that people take politics superficially at times, but also some people just love uh, to create mountains out of an anthill. So let me read a few comments from you if there are, and then we see what we can do. There is Okelo Robert. Okelo Robert. Okelo Robert. Okelo Robert says, let me focus this. Okelo Robert says, bro, I like your analysis, but I've never heard you talking about the negative part of Mr. President. Are you a UDA member? Uh-huh. So Okelo Robert, yesterday I think we were doing a live here, and there is something I shared that there is this notion that if you don't sing Kasongo must go, or you don't create videos with titles like Big Blow to Ruto, then you are compromised. You are not supposed to be relied upon. You are, as some people put it, a government blogger and other funny names. Personally, I don't think that is how political analysis work. And I'm not suggesting that I'm an expert or that my views are the only views. So I still respect your view. But I only think that the best way to look at politics is to be objective as opposed to being subjective. So while speaking against William Ruto can really make you popular now, especially online, I can tell you that I make a living through digital. I'm a digital marketer, and that is how I earn my living. I can tell you that based on analysis, and this is now professional. Based on analysis, if you want to grow your following or you want to do very well online today, then be critical of President Ruto. Because most people who are online, and this is also fact you can confirm, by virtue of proximity to Nairobi, are from Mulima. You can check that. Any data will tell you that majority of Kenyan social media users are from Mulima. The proximity to Nairobi has its advantages. Even if you went to Facebook today and you just check their raw data, you'll find that majority of the people out of the 10 million that use Facebook, you will be surprised that almost uh, 8 million are from Nairobi and its environment, which is Nairobi and the Murima area. So because Murima, most of them have rejected President Ruto because of the reasons I shared before, there is possibility of getting a lot of likes or a lot of followers should you choose that? And I've seen people even on YouTube who initially were so pro-president have changed. And now they are like blow to Ruto, shocking, and other things. These funny clickbait titles. And they're doing very well. It's growing. They are getting a lot of comments that are positive. And so I didn't want to take that route. I didn't want to go the route of the popular route. I just want to share with you what is in my mind. So if I don't come out and criticize the president as you want, that is why I do these lives. These lives is where now we interact with you. We can now discuss, for example, what Okelo is saying. We can discuss what are these negative things about the president that you would want to be highlighted. You see, that is how I think the lives will be of help. You can say, based on my understanding, there is this and this and this that the president is doing, and I think you should share what is your view on this, and then I'll share what my view is. But just deciding that I come out and criticize President Ruto from morning to evening to appear independent and other things, that may not work. I cannot sustain that. And I don't want to do something I can't sustain. Let me see. Emmanuel Kipen, Ruto must go. It's okay. That is democracy. By the way, I want to tell you a bit, a short story. I hope I won't take your time. That was around 2007. I was still a small kid. Oh, let me use the word boy here. A small boy. Kid is too demeaning. I was still a small boy. Think I had not reached the age of voting, or maybe I had. And during that time, the song was Kibaki Must Go. That was the song. Whatever Kibaki had done, nobody cared. The Thika Road was painted as a scandal. Everything else that Kibaki had done was painted as a scandal. It was Kibaki must go. The, the people who did not like Kibaki did not like Kibaki the way the people who don't like Ruto don't like him now. So this must go is not new, Emmanuel. What happens is, if you say must go, also strategize. And that is what I said. If you want to replace the president, do it in a democratic way. That is why I have always opposed any other means of getting rid of a leader. I don't support people going to the street for whatever political reason. Maybe you can go to the street because Safaricom bundles are expensive. I would join that. Those are things that can your voice will have. Your voice can make a big change. But just saying that I don't like this leader, so we are going to the street to ban to ban and loot things, I don't support that. What you can do, however, is to strategize. Look for how can we get enough votes so that when it reaches 2027, we have the numbers to get rid of Ruto. That is when Ruto must go make sense. Emmanuel Kipin. Pen Nyagaka, thank you for tuning. I'm really glad we were with you yesterday. Pen says the Wanchale were the Luo original, okay? I don't know that. The Luo history is funny, considering that Luos are in several countries. Otiepa Makaveli, I've realized you are a government blogger hiding under the pretense of Raila Odinga broad-based government to propel Ruto, but you aren't pro-ODM. Sangwenya wewe. Now, okay, Otiepa, let me tell you, I have never been a member of ODM. So you are right. There is no, I've never been a member of ODM. So I won't say, oh, today I'm pro ODM, etc. I've never been a member of ODM as a party. There is no time I defected. However, I said something here. I've also never supported Raila Odinga. I've never voted for him. So that is also something I need to make clear. Um, there is one thing that I believe in, and Tiepa, if you're still there, I hope you listen to this. If today I oppose you for doing A, and I say that in my opinion you should do B, and then one day you do that B, I don't oppose you. So I've opposed Raila because any opportunity he gets, he takes Luo kids to the street. I have always insisted that there is a better way to bargain with the government of the day other than taking Luos to the street. Now that Raila chose that route, sitting down and talking with the powers that be instead of being on the street, I can't oppose him. If I do, then it means my opposition is what we call traditional opposition. Traditional opposition is where you oppose somebody for the sake of it. Even if they say water is made of hydrogen and oxygen, you say no, simply because somebody you don't like said it. So this time, Raila did what I've always been advocating for. And so for that reason, I'm not hiding behind him. I'm just saying on this, I agree with him that choosing to dialogue, whether it will be complicated, whether it will have issues, no life is going to be lost in a dialogue. I can tell you that. No Luo is going to be a widow because of dialogue. It can never happen. But the alternative where people go to the street, they are killed, I have always opposed that. And now that Raila Odinga has chosen the route of always dialoguing and not going to the street, on that, ladies and gentlemen, especially Otiepa, Makaveli, I support that. Aha. Julu Mowar bandwagon, it's you. Okay. Ben Mugambi, I am a staunch Ruto supporter. I still believe in his vision for Kenya. Okay. Emmanuel, in reality, what has this president done to our country? That I did a video. Emmanuel, I did a video. In this video, I don't know. I think I'll link it in this when this is done. In this video, I shared what President Ruto promised and what he has done so far. In that video, you can check it. I think I'll link it down here. Maybe. Aha. Nancy Kiberenge, government blogger. Ruto must go. Okay. And Nancy, just make sure you have enough votes. That is what I said. Democracy is that you make sure you have enough votes. Just chanting Ruto must go might not work on the day of voting. And we don't want a situation where people go into depression because their expectation was never met. I remember when we were approaching 2022 elections, and the belief was that 100% Raila Odinga was going to win. Why? Because they said he had the support of the government and he also had the support of the people. However, I insisted, and those of you who follow me, I insisted that there was no way Raila was going to defeat William Ruto. Why? Because elections in Kenya, especially the presidential elections, are determined by three communities. You want to believe this, to believe it. But it is the ugly truth here. These three communities decide who becomes the next president of Kenya. That is the Gikuyu and the people they influence in Mulima, the Kalenjin and the people they influence in Rift Valley, and the Luos and the people they influence in Western. When two of them come together, they will produce a president. In 2002, Luos and Kikuyu together. Mwai Kibaki, president. 2007, Kalenjin and Luos together. Raila won. I didn't vote for him, you should know, but he won that election. That is the reality. Whether you voted for somebody or you didn't, he won that election. Kibaki stole that election and caused us unnecessary pain. Now, Uhuru understood this truth, that even though at that particular time the Kalenjin and the Kikuyus were arch enemies, Uhuru still went to William Ruto to form a partnership. Why? Because he knew he had only two options, either to get the Luos or the Kalenjins. Luos were not available. Raila was vying in 2013. So there was no way Luos were going to vote for Uhuru Kenyatta. So he went for the Kalenjin. And that combination, ladies and gentlemen, won the election in 2013. That combination won the election in 2017. And that is why I believed that as long as that combination was still there, moving into 2022, he was going to win. Ruto was going to win that election. And he won that election. This time round, there is a complication because Mount Kenya that were with Kalenjin are somehow disinterested, which means that for Ruto to get re-elected, he needs either to find a way to bring the Mount Kenya back into the fold. Very possible, don't disagree. It's possible, this politics, or find how Luos are going to be in his camp. Because if he gets Luos, he's going to be re-elected. If he gets the Kikuyus back, of course he will be re-elected. So that is how politics work. So don't just sing Ruto must go. Don't just sing Kasongo must go. Look at politics, how it works. The reality of politics is so different from the emotions that people have. I gave you an example of the US. The belief of most Democrats was that there is no way Donald Trump can win an election against anyone, let alone Kamala Harris, against anyone. That was their belief. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not how politics work. Politics is about individual interest, community interest. What is it that is working for us? And that is what Trump focused on. He just asked them, were you okay under me? Or are you okay under Biden? And people looked at how the economy was under Trump and they said, we want that back. He got the popular vote. He won all the swing states. And the gentleman won a massive electoral vote. So don't be surprised if President Ruto is re-elected overwhelmingly, even after you have shouted, Ruto must go. I hope, Nancy, you are now strategizing. Okay? Moses Onditi. Okay. Okay. Moses Onditi is saying that can Ruto must go people? Can Ruto must go people tell other Kenyans where President Ruto has failed and who is their candidate in case they are not just playing tribal card? Moses, the other day, I remember I tried, there was a day I tried engaging somebody on why Ruto has to go. This was a very funny engagement in that This is somebody who was going from one radio station to the other, explaining the better. He was like, the president has done this, the president has done this, the president has done this. Then the president and Rigathi part ways, and this person changed and said they counted everything. Everything that president had done, which she was the one going around explaining, all of a sudden became a lie. And so you were looking at somebody asking, what has the president done? And this is somebody who would be going to radio stations to explain what the president had done. So that is why I realized that at times, it's just the same thing that Uhuru was facing in 2016. In 2016, people were just singing Uhuru must go. Yet he had done a few things, and he was even now proposing to have the Big Four agenda, but people were just singing Uhuru has to go. What they didn't look at is that Uhuru had the Kalenjin and Kikuyu intact, and that guaranteed him re-election, by the way. So as we sing must go, we should also at least be aware that when push comes to shove, what will matter is, do you have enough numbers? And this is my advice to the Gen Zs and any other person who is swearing that Ruto is a one term. It's okay. This is a democracy. I am actually persuaded that in politics you cannot be too sure. So it is possible that Ruto can be a one term president. It's possible. It's not like it's impossible. No. He has what it takes to maybe win, but it's possible that he might find himself as a one term. The only thing that will make that a reality is if you have a strategy and the numbers. And when it comes to political strategy, we are not overestimating the president. He knows how to handle these things. You can trust that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share with you why Raila Odinga defended James Orengo. So if there is nothing else, we can end the live. Or if there's a topic that you'd want us to talk about, you can share. But if you like these lives, you can let me also know, so that I try. We have them as regular as possible. Let me see. And there are people here who deleted a lot of. There are people here who deleted a lot of. Thank you, Ben Mugambi. Thank you so much. Uh-huh. I hope this was useful. Let us meet in the next video. And if there's a topic you want us to talk about, don't forget. Just let me know. We will talk about. And there is no topic that we can talk about, by the way. Even if we disagree, let us disagree, but always let us talk. This is our country. Thank you so much for taking your time. I really appreciate this. I don't take it for granted. And if you found value in this, share it with friends. And tattoo media. Oh, power of social media. Most Kenyans came to learn how government works, and the bigger percentage of them are Gen Zs. And without the knowledge of where we have come from, they want things to change instant. But when it comes to Gen Z tattoo media, I don't agree with you. Most of them don't even believe in the change. That one I can tell you. If you look at the Gen Zs, people aged between 12 and 27, most of them don't even believe in good governance. For them, maybe this is just euphoria, the 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 excitement that comes with it. But I don't think they believe. Most of them, no. If you look at how they lead their lives, maybe you can't say these are people who believe in change. Just the other day, I challenged one. He said during their protests that one of the worst ministers was Mithika Linturi. That Mithika Linturi should have not even been appointed, should be sacked. I saw the same person praising Mithika Linturi for joining Rigathi Gachagua. So it has nothing to do with good governance. It's just politics. And I must add, tribal politics. Otherwise, let us end it there. I thank you once again. We meet in the next video.